Khruangbin and Leon Bridges' Texas Moon album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning. Here to chat about this latest collaboration from Houston natives all around, Khruangbin and Leon Bridges. Khruangbin, if you don't know, Houston-based sort of jam band of sorts. They are known for their blends of psychedelic soul and space rock and a lot more. I mean, say what you will, even if you're not into these sort of genres right now. I mean, I'm usually not. I'm sort of past my Grateful Dead phase, but albums like Con Todo El Mundo, as well as The Universe Smiles Around You, are most certainly a vibe. And you know what? Their Mordecai album is tough. It's an album that I initially was pretty warm on and pretty inviting towards. I still think that singles like Time are just fantastic. But it also led to a really interesting debate, and that is, does Khruangbin's music really need vocals at the end of the day, when some of what made their music so good in the early days was, you know, just how easy it was to escape into. And I thought the vocals at times on Mordecai kind of took away from that. Now, fast forward to their first collaboration with Leon Bridges. Honestly, Leon is somebody that I've had a lot of respect for, probably more so than a lot of people give him credit for, I think. I mean, we're living in a time where so many artists are going for this retro-tinged sound. Leon does it so freaking well. Leon has done it well over 3 albums now, 3 solo albums, that is. Now, when he came along and collaborated with Khruangbin the first time on Texas Sun, I thought it was something to really write home about. I named it probably my second or third favorite EP of the year. I thought it was just a really great blend of psychedelic soul and blues, and it really encapsulated, living in Texas. It's just so smoky. It's just so broken down. And it's so authentic. And I really do love it. It still has held up wonderfully, too. And you know what? I thought this was going to be like the only time we ever heard from the two of these artists together. I thought it was a one and done kind of thing. Most of the time it is. But yet here we are with Texas Moon. And say what you will, I still think the two of them have a whole lot of chemistry. I've enjoyed B-Side since it dropped as a single. It's easily the most upfront and instantaneous and funky track here. This is the sort of very colorful, very energetic, and just really just like upbeat and groovy psychedelic soul that I was just so excited to dig my teeth into here. I love the funky licks that we get from Khruangbin, and Leon's super bluesy, super hip performance is great. You don't really have to think too much about this track either. Like, if you didn't listen to the first EP and this came on, you could just easily groove to it. It's a great single. Chocolate Hills is really good as well. As a matter of fact, I think it's the best track here, even if it is a grower. I remember first time I heard it, I was not that enthusiastic about it. I thought it was kind of boring. But all around, I think it's probably the best example of their collaborative sound here. I love just how melted this track comes off. This sounds like it was left out in the sun all day, and its only, method of cooling down is the sun going down. And that's not a bad thing, though. I think it actually makes this track really powerful. Khruangbin just sounds so silky in their rhythms here. It's just psychedelic and just hypnotic enough. And Leon here, this is probably one of his sexiest and smoothest performances here. He's got so much swagger to himself, too. And truthfully, I have a lot of the same thoughts on Father Father. It's not as upbeat or funky as B-Side was earlier. It's still that sort of nocturnal, sort of cooled off blues. It's just a bluesy, sleepy-eyed jam with a lot going for it. And come on, they play off each other so well here. I love how sweet and soulful Leon comes off, and I love how Khruangbin are probably at their most cosmic on this track, and they just seem to really just be made for one another here. However, sadly, I feel like there is less to enjoy this time around, even if it is just a little bit. I'm not saying this is a bad EP. This is a very viable EP with a lot going for it, but I just feel like their first outing had a lot more oomph to it. Like Doris, I'm not crazy about it. I actually think it's the worst track here. What makes this EP so enjoyable at times is just how hazy and bluesy it is. But here it almost comes to a halt, to the point where there's nothing happening at parts. Or at least nothing of note, or nothing that's exciting. And that's sad. I mean, Leon sounds fine, Khruangbin are them usual themselves here, but there's no collaboration, there's no playing off one another. This sounds like an in-house jam that just is really not going anywhere. And I have a lot of the same feelings on Mariella. Honestly, it's not that exciting. As far as this sound goes, it's not what I want to hear. It's okay. It has a lot of the same qualities as the rest of the album. It's very hazy, it's smoky, it's bluesy, it's broken down, but it's also really safe, like shockingly safe. Even Leon on vocals on this track sounds more bored than anything, which is not usually something I have to say about him. I mean, look, their collaboration on this album is still pretty, captivating at times. It's very fruitful. The two play off each other so well, Khruangbin and Leon Bridges. When this EP is on, they still have so much going for themselves. It's this sort of, like nocturnal side of their Texas Sun EP. And yes, that sounds cheesy, but it's really the best way to explain what's going on this EP. And yeah, it's broken down, it's bluesy, it's soulful. There's a lot going for it, but this time around, I feel like, I don't know, there's a little less oomph to it. There's some awkward moments, and there's some moments where they're barely collaborating at all. But still, the good outweighs the bad. I'm feeling a very light 7 on this EP, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.